Right, welcome again, and let's pick up the threads from the previous features explained video in this part 2. What we were ending the previous video, it was we were explaining some of these checkboxes here, what they do and what kind of result they have on the ffxicaddie. And let's just remove the browser here for 1 second. Right, so we were explaining how these this textual information here can be turned off like so, and how how I always prefer to have the zone name, so I can right-click it to have information on it automatically in the web browser. So the zone ID, the subzone ID, it's nothing really the regular user should be concerned about, but it's nice to know information, I guess, at some point. You have the zoom level, which shows the current zoom level. This goes from 1 to 50. And you have the caddy port, which is, you can actually see here 54386, and you'll see if in the Final Fantasy window here 54386, so you'll see those are the ones connected, and you will also notice I have another character here, and he's not connected at the moment. He was disconnected. Right. So let's take a look at the settings window again. So the port is nice for showing that you know, that connection if you need that. So let's take a look at the screen snapping. That's enabled by default. If I do reset to default here now, that one is enabled by default. And what it does, it's quite handy actually. You can move your map close to the edge of the screen, and it will snap to it, and also to the top of the screen, snap to that, and also the corner like so, which is quite useful. If you don't, you'll just have no snapping. So that's that option. And then we have the metadata checkboxes here. We'll come back to that at a later stage. Now, here's quite a useful thing here. You have a desired search provider, and by default that is the ffxicaddie. But you also could change to the Bluegraph Wiki or Gamer Escape Wiki, or actually also ffxicaddie.com. And the way it works is, if I have this Clopedia, ffxy Clopedia, and I, for instance, right-click the zone name here, it will open on the ffxy Clopedia. If I change this setting to say the biggie BG wiki and right click again, it'll use that search provider instead. So this also works on another topic, and that is you can actually, let's see here, you can actually right click on NPCs in this game, well, in the caddy, and have it. You can actually both right click the name or the dot representing the NPC. And right now NPCs are in green color. You can actually see that here. That's a dot color of the NPCs. And you can right click an NPC and it'll search it up for you. Let's do a more. Isn't there a more interesting one? Seaball Reco something. Let's see here, and you can get useful information about that NPC, what quests it's involved in, and stuff like that. So it's a kind of a useful feature, and also kind of a cool feature is you can also right-click player characters. Like I can right-click myself, and it'll look me up on the auction house website and see what I've been selling and buying. And you can also do that on other players here. If you first just turn on lockout on player, and we can pan it, pan a bit, and we can right click that one. I don't know its name because it isn't shown right now, but I can just right click him, and oh, Kozak is his name, so he's selling a lot of dragon kisses. So it's a quite a nice feature actually. In order to get the names to show up for player characters, you have to go into the filters form, and you can choose to show names on other player characters, and you'll see here's Kozak and Dance with Wolves. I can click on him and have his history here. So quite cool feature actually. So let's turn on this. The filter settings is, by the way, is part of your profile. So if you want to show the names of all the player characters, it'll be saved in the profile, and next time you start with that profile, you will show the names of other player characters. Right, so but we're not explaining that one just yet, so we just go back here. So that's the search provider thing. Obviously on player characters it's always gonna open the auction house site, but on NPCs it's gonna open the provider, use the provider you specified here, and just look up that NPC. Right. The metadata label font, I'm gonna wait a bit with. Select info font. That's info font. That's the font in the upper left corner here. You can change this to something a little more sexy, I guess. And you can also change the color if you click this this box over here. You can just change it to green, I guess. Oh, that's a bad color. Blue. Okay. So that's the info color, and you can also check, choose to modify the entity font. And let's say it's take something more exotic here as well, I guess. And you'll see the entity font changing here. So by default, it's the operating system default, and which is Microsoft Sans Serif, I think. So if we reset to default, it will go back to Microsoft Sans Serif. Skip that. Oh, no, this was the info font. Let's just do this one for the kind of pleasing to look at for 5 minutes at least. Okay, so down here you have, you know, for info you have the possibility to change the color for all the info text. Down here you have actually the possibility to change the color based on the type of entity you're looking at. So let's say for regular NPCs, we can change the color of those. You'll see them here, and I'm changing the dot color now. That's it. This is a dot, and I'm changing that to, let's say, blue instead, and you'll see all those are getting blue. And I can also, you'll see all the name colors are defaulted to black, and I think that's a nice setting. That's why I kept that default. But of course you may change, for instance, NPC color to say red. That's a name color, not a dot color. Yeah, let's try red. That's quite horrible, but anyways, you have the possibility to do that, and it's all stored in your profile here. Right, I think that's all for this this feature explain, and I'll pick up some more in part 3. Okay, thank you.